10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Well. Good morning, everybody. 9:30 a.m. You know what that means. Well, 9:33 a.m. if you really know what that means. Sam here, live on United People's TV, here to bring you all the latest transfer news and talking points, like I do every single day. And today, I suppose, like I do every single day, I say that Frenkie de Jong is going to be the main talking point because Frenkie de Jong still remains the main talking point in Manchester United. What is going on? I'm going to run through the latest and the suggestions. As I said, I'm going to run through articles from James Ducker from The Telegraph. I'm going to run through The Athletic from Laurie Whitwell and from David Ornstein about this transfer, which seemingly seems quite stuck. It feels like we've reached an impasse. I said that how we react as a football club in terms of our negotiations, how we react after going in with that first bid on Friday, that we'll be able to then judge how we're probably going to be acting in this summer transfer window. And I'll tell you what, it's not particularly good news. I don't think so anyway. I'm going to run through it. Look, let me see who's down here this morning. I feel like I haven't given you shout-outs at the start of my streams last couple of days. Jason, I've been a little bit distracted. Jason, how you doing there, buddy? Nice to see you there. Klein, I can see there. Shushanth, Robert Hale, Daisy, I can see you there. Good morning to you, Paula, as well. Good to see some female United fans, by the way, joining in. It's such a male-dominated sport, but it's good to see female United fans joining in. So welcome to both of you. Roy, I can see there's Sigmund. Good morning to you, sir. A man who has been gifting subs, by the way. So big up to Sigmund. Everyone say thank you very much, Sigmund. So big up to him for doing that. And I will, on Friday, I'll try and do some more gifted subs if I can remember. Try and give 10 away. I'll do that on Friday. Justin, good morning to you all the way from California. Look at that. Dan, you're saying, look, I bet Sam's going to be super pissed this morning. I'm not particularly happy. I've got to admit, I'm not particularly happy. I said very clearly that there was obviously a bit of a switch and a change in for Manchester United with De Jong on Friday. From Laurie Whitwell coming with the article said, look, it's obvious that De Jong softened his stance, right? And then that bid went in, and we were happy. We were excited. I wasn't absolutely buzzing my tits off because I looked at the bid, 60 million euros plus 10 million up in add-ons, 70 million euros. It's obviously going to fall a little bit short for what Barcelona want. But I tell you what, it's reaching that point now. Let me run through the articles here, and then we can have a conversation about it. It's reaching a point where United really have to consider just fucking it all off, just sacking it off. We've got to value the concept of time and the commodity of time. And I will run through and explain exactly what I mean there. We've got Matt watching from Melbourne. Good morning. Good evening to you. And we've got Damien watching from, I don't know where you're watching from, Damien, but good morning to you. Look, Kwanzi, look, you're new here. Welcome aboard. I try to be as interactive as I possibly can here on United People's TV. I try and answer as many of your questions as I possibly can and interact with you as much as I can. So make sure you get involved in the comments. And look, Arjun, I can see they're joining the family. Good morning to you, my friend. Let me know where you're watching from. And Neo, not that Neo. Although I haven't seen the latest Matrix. I want to watch it. So no spoilers in the comments. Shouldn't have mentioned anything because all of you are going to give me spoilers now. Josh, people are saying they're done with the club. What the hell, man? The frustration really reaches crescendos, reaches that peak with certain individuals far quicker than others. And it's my job here on United People's TV. I've got a responsibility with this community to make sure that my crescendo doesn't come before yours. I've got to try and stay a little bit level-headed. And I said to you that this week was a week where my own personal position of frustration might change and might switch. And I said that was because I wanted to see United act decisively. If that deal was rejected, 60 million plus 10, why wait? But now we waited Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We're on the 5th day since that first bid went in, and we haven't heard anything else since. That is something that really frustrates me. Arjan, watching from, how you doing, buddy? Watching from New Delhi in India. Love how level-headed you are being a United fan. Thank you very much, mate. It's nice to have you join in. And we've got Neo watching from South Africa. Look at that. All Reds around the world. It's all great fun, isn't it? But look, let me run through the latest for you from Fabrizio, from James Ducker from The Telegraph, from Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic, and David Ornstein. Give me a few minutes here. I'll run through all of the articles, and then I'll head down and I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can on this situation. Now, Fabrizio said this last night. I'll be honest, it's a very Fabrizio tweet at the moment. It's a tweet with no update. It's a tweet with, yeah, things are the exact same. And these sorts of things are probably what fuels a lot of the frustration, because there is no update. So why would you bring that update? As I said, David Ornstein has taken over as the numero uno. And this isn't me slating Fabrizio. Fabrizio's incredible at what he does. But as I said, by constantly giving updates, even when there isn't any updates, and constantly speaking, he's taken away from his own power. I think so anyway, by spreading himself too much. Anyway, this is what he's saying. Still no changes on Frenkie de Jong. Barca won't accept anything less than 85 million as a guaranteed fee. Now, you'll remember that Manchester United's first offer was 60 million euros up front. And this, if you joined me yesterday on the Christian Eriksen offer stream, this is what David Ornstein, well, this was at the bottom of what David Ornstein said about that Christian Eriksen situation. He had a little snippet on Frenkie de Jong. He said, Barcelona player Frenkie de Jong is believed to be the club's top midfield priority. Now, we already knew that, with United aware of their financial difficulties. But it is understood talks between United and Barcelona have some way to run, and the Premier League club have other options. Now, my initial immediate reaction to that was, fuck's sake. It's like the last thing I wanted to hear. Because as far as I'm concerned, if we're looking at an offer that's worth a total of 70 million euros, and Barca want 100 million, they're not getting 100 million, just like we're not going to get him for 70. The middle ground for there is 85. It's 15 million euros. It's not much in the grand scheme of football transfers. In any other vein in life, 50 million euros is a lot of money. But I've looked at that and I went, it feels like quite a simple, not a simple set of negotiations, because that's what United love getting involved in transfers that are difficult. We like making it hard for ourselves. We went after Jadon Sancho in a summer where Dortmund didn't want to sell Jadon Sancho, and they put a ridiculous price on him. And what happened? We didn't sign him. We spent a whole summer chasing him. Now we're going after Frenkie de Jong, a player who doesn't want to leave Barcelona, a player who Barcelona don't want to sell, but a player who Barcelona might be forced to sell. I've explained my analogy of the old being in a chain, getting offer accepted for a house, but you can't do anything until that person you're buying from has found a new house. It's what we're in. That's why this Barcelona situation is taking so long with Frenkie de Jong. Ray, you're down here saying, I just see them in the shirt and I don't care who. Look, obviously everyone's waiting for that. But look, as I said, David Ornstein said, it is understood that talks between the clubs have some way to run. And if we go over here and see what Laurie Whitwell's saying on the situation, a very similar story. United are hoping to make de Jong the marquee summer signing, but sources say an agreement with Barcelona could be some way off yet. United are fully aware of the financial difficulties at the new camp and are prepared to wait to bring the price down, with the Catalans under increasing pressure to sell to fix their wage cap. This is definitely the story that's going on. Man United are prepared to wait. And for me, it's just such a dangerous game, man. It is such a dangerous game that we've now found ourselves in, that we've now got ourselves into. Because the ultimate reality is this, right? You can get Barcelona fans saying this sort of stuff all day long, all they want. It's pretty simple, really. Either United pay what Barcelona are asking for, 100 million euros overall package, or they can look elsewhere. It's not simple at all. Barcelona have literally got Christensen and Kessie, 2 free signings that they cannot register because their wage cap is so screwed. Barcelona have got seriously some nerve to sit here and try and act like they hold all the cards in this negotiation. And that's the impasse that we're at. I think Manchester United, in a normal environment, Man United are doing the right thing here. We know that Barcelona needs to sell. We know that Barcelona don't really hold the trump card in this negotiation. We will probably get him for cheaper than they want to sell him for. But as I said, there is something that needs to be... You can't put a value on it, but time. Time is probably the most important commodity that Manchester United have this summer, which might sound ridiculous to you. And you might say, well, no, Sam, obviously it's whether or not we've got a 200 million or a 300 million euro summer transfer budget. But time for me is everything. because time is what Erik ten Hag needs. Erik ten Hag set the tone by starting his work on Manchester United the day after Ajax won the league. He could have easily been afforded 2-3-4 days off, and no one would have batted an eyelid. Instead, he went in and realized that it was far more important to spend that time on Manchester United. And this is the ultimate issue. This is the ultimate fear that all United fans had this summer. There's only one commodity that Manchester United consider valuable, and it's the bottom line. That's how much something costs. That's how much a price of something is, and how much something is worth, and how much you can get it for. And that's ultimately led by that man there. I refuse to think that I don't refuse to think. I genuinely think that John Murtough will probably be pushing this idea, say, look, 70 million, we went in with that first low ball offer. They want 100 million. Let's meet in the middle, 85. That's negotiations. That is exactly what negotiations is. And there we go, 15 million, done. Let's move it on. But because Joel Glazer is the man who ultimately has to sign off on that, he would have signed off on that deal for 70 million. He also has to sign off on that deal for 85 million. And the fact that United are waiting, as I said, it's technically the smart thing to do negotiations-wise, because we know that Barcelona need to sell because they haven't got any money. But at the same time, this is going to hurt Manchester United. This is going to damage Manchester United. And we've got so much to do this summer. We really, really do. Hello, saying, look, why in the world should United spend more than half of the so-called budget on one player when we need at least 5? Drop De Jong, please. Great channel. Thank you very much, Hello. But De Jong, I can understand the idea that he is a marquee signing. He really would be. And I'm not going to do it. I'm holding back on this video, but I really feel quite strongly that De Jong would be an utterly transformative signing for United. I will hold that video back until if or when it happens. I hope that it does happen. But I don't fear that we will. I can see a couple of comments down here saying, look, I fear that we'll walk away from it. I don't fear that we'll walk away from it. But I fear that United, and maybe that we won't walk away from it, that we'll just sit there and wait and wait and wait, because we're prepared to wait to reduce that fee. Whereas in reality, there is a value you need to, and that's the subtlety, and that's the differences between a corporate environment and a football transfers environment. They are two different things. If you were great at negotiating a deal to get 20% off the rent for your offices, and you think that you're the bollocks and you're Ed Woodward walking in like that, it does not mean that you can go to a negotiations table between two football teams and apply that same logic and the same pressures that you exerted at board level to get a cheaper business corporate deal. Does not work in a football environment. There's too many moving pieces. Pratosaurus Rex, you're saying Man United should give a final offer and walk away if Barca don't meet it. We need to stop protracted transfer sagas. A better team can be built. I completely agree with you there, my friend. And United have to make a decision. We have to make a decision this week. And that's what I'm saying. We have to value the commodity of time. I don't think this man values the commodity of time at all. And ultimately, that is the voice leading, not our transfer negotiations, but leading who signs off on them. And that will continue to be. Erik ten Hag will have every right at this point, I think, to be a little bit frustrated, a little bit annoyed at what's going on. Joseph, you're saying, look, I agree that Barca will be forced to sell at a price which is lower than what they want. We just need to be working on other transfers in the meantime while we wait for Barca to relent. And that's an excellent comment there, Joe. Thank you very much. And nice to see you there, as always. Hope you're feeling better, mate. I think, yeah, it's exactly what United need to do. If United are going to play hardball here, then play hardball. Give them the offer. Walk away from it. Let Barca stew on it. Go and sign a goddamn defensive midfielder. Go and sign a centre-back. Go and sign this attacker that we've been linked with. Why are we hearing nothing about anything else? Like, United can't multitask. I think that's a big point of frustration that I think United fans have, is effectively our inabilities. Like when we're on a transfer, whether it's De Jong, whether it's Sancho, we seem to have our head down and we're looking at that transfer and we're focused because it's the priority. We've made our list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're at number 1, and we can't look at number 2 until number one is done. That's effectively what it looks like. But if United are then going to say, right, we're playing hardball with negotiations, they have to look elsewhere. And Mark, look, you're absolutely spot on here, my friend. Who says they aren't working on other transfers alongside this one? You might be right, and I hope you are entirely and completely right there, mate. And that's what I want to see. I want to be surprised by a transfer out of nowhere. Boom, fee agreed. A bit, as I said, a bit like the Yves Bissouma to Spurs one. No one saw that coming. All of a sudden on a Tuesday morning, they've agreed a 25 million fee. You're like, what? That's weird. That's what I want to see from United. That's what I hope is going on behind the scenes. But unfortunately, we're starting to see repeating patterns from previous transfer windows. Now, some of you might come here and say that, look, Sam, this is why I was angry and frustrated 2 weeks ago, X, Y, Z. And I'll be like, sure, congratulations. You were frustrated before me. Like, there's no winner here. There's no winner for being first to being most pissed off. I don't know what you want to call it. But I will never be that person. I will always try and restrain myself from that and give the benefit of the doubt. But unfortunately, what we're starting to see now is some repeating patterns. We really are. And look, we're saying, I'm not sure why we're after De Jong. I mean, I think you know why we're after De Jong. If he's not interested, he seems another pod, but if things don't work out, what has his new management done differently if signing such happen? Look, De Jong is interested, man. You can read what he keeps saying. I'll run through his interview that he's had yesterday with the Dutch national team. He's happy at Barcelona. He wants to stay at Barcelona, but very much knows that Barcelona probably can't afford to keep him. And that's why you can't say that he doesn't want to leave, man. He won't. He won't be upset if he comes to Manchester United. He won't be unhappy if he plays for Manchester United. Be very happy. And I'm going to go over here and quickly read what James Ducker has had to say on the De Jong situation as well. He hasn't really given an update for a couple of days. This is what he's been saying. Because United have prioritised a deal for Frenkie de Jong, with the club in talks with Barcelona for him. And Ten Hag is desperate for it to be reunited with him. It is not clear whether Eriksen is only a fallback option. I've read elsewhere, and I'll tell you what, if you joined me yesterday for that Christian Eriksen stream, you'll know that was probably the biggest frustration I had when I read through that article. The idea that Eriksen was being considered as an alternative rather than a supplementary signing to De Jong. That's now been changed from David Ornstein's article. So I don't know whether that point was wrong, whether that point was incorrect. It was probably my biggest gripe about it. But everywhere else we're reading is that Eriksen is not being lined up as a De Jong alternative, but more as somebody to be added on to De Jong. Deborah, I can see you down here. You're saying looks like Wolves are firm on the Neves price too. I'm going to be coming on to Neves in a bit. And that's because, look, if United have got to... I don't know. It's such a tough situation. Or is it? That's what I mean. There's justification no matter what point of view you go for. From United's point of view, it makes sense that we're playing a little bit hardball because we know that Barca have to sell. We know that. And we hold that card. So we know that if we do wait and we wait and we wait, we'll probably get the deal we want. But that only works if United are looking elsewhere, if United are doing things elsewhere and not just sitting and wasting our time waiting for a response. Joseph, just to piss Barca off, we should be start talking to Kessie. Barca won't be able to register him until Frenkie de Jong is sold. Therefore, we can get Kessie on a free. You could try and do that, but that would be, I suppose, a little bit childish, right? Jeff, you're saying, it baffles me why you lot can't understand what we're trying to do. The conversation with Barcelona will have been to wait until their final meeting. You don't see we're doing things the coach want. I don't completely understand your comment there. But as I said, look, Alex, look, I'm getting tired of these videos on De Jong. Nothing is happening, so stop talking about it. I would say something is... Not something is happening, but I told you that this week would be where my personal frustration switches. I wanted to see how United reacted to that first bid not being accepted. For me, that was quite an important moment, quite an important few days here with the De Jong situation in understanding whether United had changed their approach in the transfer window or whether United were prepared to have the same sort of approach and hope for a different outcome. And at this moment in time, that's kind of what we're seeing with the De Jong situation. Barca are taking the piss out of us, all right? That much is clear. They want 100 million. They want 100 million. They want more for Frenkie de Jong than they signed him for. A player who hasn't really become a better individual since joining them. A player who they need to sell to raise funds. at a club which is over $1 billion in debt, and they're stuck. But they're forcing that transfer to be stuck because they're being greedy. They're looking at United as the angel from the bank. Oh, it's 100 million. Boom. That's what they're waiting for. I don't think they'll get it. Go back in and see what else James Ducker has said on this situation. He's saying United have been clear that they will not pay over the odds for De Jong and are acutely aware that Barcelona's troubled financial position means they need to sell players in order to bring in new recruits to strengthen the squad. Barca commits to a total fee of 86 million euros. That's what United should be doing. That seems like a very easy set of negotiations. Right, how much did you pay for De Jong? Right, okay. We'll give you that. Not guaranteed. We'll give you 75 million euros up front, rising to 86 according to a couple of add-ons. I don't get why United aren't going in aggressively. That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems very straightforward and it feels very straightforward. 70 is not accepted. They want 100. Meet in the middle. Meet in the middle. And look, and you can talk about Man United's finances and all that jazz, but look, this is completely true. I said this yesterday on Twitter and absolutely stand by it. Currently, 15 million euros is the impasse. That's the missing piece. We're hearing that they want 100 million euros. We know that they're not going to get it. We know that that is a negotiation tactic from Barcelona in much the same way Manchester United lowballing with a 70 million offer is our way of negotiating. And what's in between those two? We know it's 85 million. We know that we're 15 million short. But the Glazers are about to take out 21 million. June is when the second biannual dividend is taken out. Another 10 million will leave our club in June. Nearly 15 million euros will leave our club in June because the Glazers are putting it in their back pocket. That's why the bottom line is so important to them, because they have to make sure they keep fucking getting that. Percy with an outrageous comment saying, look, you're on the wrong placement here, my friend. You can scoot off somewhere else. If how your football club acts in the transfer window would actively make you stop following the football club, I don't know what's wrong with you. You are watching and following Manchester United for all the wrong reasons. But this here, I think it has to be a line in the sand. Manchester United have to go, right, okay, you're going to do what you're doing. We'll start looking elsewhere. There will be other... I mean, look, if we won't pay 85 million euros for Frenkie de Jong, we probably won't pay what Wolves want for Ruben Neves. That's got the Premier League tax, the Man United tax, all sorts of taxes on top of that. He would cost just as much as Frenkie de Jong, if not slightly more. It's a bit of a strange one on that. There's a super chat flying in there. Let me read that one out. Anup saying, look, Matic gone without CDM. Frenkie de Jong, Eriksen doesn't make sense. I don't see any difference between this and last summer. Look, I've already done a video yesterday and video day before on the fact that we need a defensive midfielder. You know what I think about the fact that we need a defensive midfielder. And for me, it is the single most important signing that we need to make this summer. And currently, we haven't really heard too much on that, which I find very, very strange and very, very odd, in my opinion. And look, Anthony, this is probably exactly what United think right now. That's exactly why we're in this situation. Barcelona are making this as difficult as possible because they are trying to squeeze United, because they know that they don't really have anywhere else to turn. And United in turn know that. And that's what I mean. You can get... This situation here only sort of increases the frustration of United fans, because you look at Darwin Núñez and you go, there is absolutely no way that Darwin Núñez is a 100 million euro player. I don't think anybody would really argue that. I don't think any Liverpool fan, actually, no, they'll probably say he is, but apart from those, everybody knows that Liverpool overpaid for Darwin Núñez. But what did they do? They overpaid. They got it done. They got their player in. And that's the Darwin Núñez situation. I definitely think fuels the extra frustration among United fans, because if Liverpool is sitting there and willing to overpay for a player, then why aren't United? Now, that's why I said this summer is a very different summer transfer window for Liverpool, for Man City, than it is for Manchester United. We've got so much to do, which only really doubles down on my point that we've got to start operating elsewhere. I think it was Mark earlier, right? I really hope that you're right, that Manchester United behind the scenes are surprising us all, that we're covertly, quietly going about our business. We're in conversations to sign Ibrahim Sangare. Well, I don't know whether that's true or not. I know it's not true at the moment. Last time I spoke to Rick Elfrink at the weekend, he said no offer coming from Manchester United, but the offer, we know what it is. It's 37 million euros. He has got a release clause. Simple transfer there. What's going on with Yuri and Timber? All gone a bit quiet on the Western Front there. Anthony. What about Anthony? We're hearing reports that we're linked with the move. Reports FC. No movement there. What about Christopher Nkunku? What about Christian Eriksen? We've got an offer that's gone in there. This is the thing here, man. This is the thing. I'm not saying that we should overpay on transfers. And exactly, look, 40. I know you're trying to take the piss out of me, but it's a bad attempt. But that's the situation that United find themselves in. If we overpay, people will laugh at us. Fucking hell, Harry Maguire, here we go again. Paul Pogba, ooh. And they don't want to do that. But then on the other hand, United is slated. There really is it's like a lose-lose situation because Barcelona are digging their heels in. Barcelona are the awkward party in all of this. Barcelona don't want to sell. Well, shit me. You shouldn't have signed Dembele for 100+ million, Coutinho for 100+ million, giving Griezmann $500,000 a week. You damn idiots. You ran your club into the ground, and now United are suffering the consequences of that because the player that we want is the architect of Ten Hag's style of football. It's Frenkie de Jong. You can understand exactly why he's the priority because he wants to build a system at United, and that man there is going to be the person that makes that happen. But Barcelona don't really want to sell, even though they have to. And they're making, as I said, Man United seem to find the most difficult transfers to go after each summer, whether it's Jadon Sancho and trying to sign him in a year where Dortmund don't want to sell, or whether it's Frenkie de Jong and trying to sign him when Barcelona don't really want to sell and they have to wait to find out if they can get money from elsewhere. They're trying to call in all favors. They're trying to dig. Look, you want to go out and play play on the Barcelona new camp pitch? 300 euros, in you come. They're trying to make money anywhere. And that's why we're stuck in this situation, because we don't want to pay what Barcelona want, and Barcelona aren't willing to budge because they're desperate. Ian, you're saying, hi, Sam. Haven't you heard City is interested in De Jong, which is why Barca can wait? I haven't really heard too much interest from elsewhere, which I do find a little bit strange. City's name's been mentioned. Bayern Munich's name's been mentioned. PSG's name's been mentioned. They've all been a bit tentative. City, they've got Haaland. They're going after Calvin Phillips. They're the two positions they needed to strengthen. The only reason they need to go after De Jong is if Gundogan leaves, and he's got a year left on his deal. He might A, sign a new contract, or B, just not leave. So kind of separate a little bit. Show you have alternatives for bargaining power. Yeah, but I don't know whether that's what United are trying to do with Christian Eriksen. It's not exactly something that's going to make Barcelona go terrified, is it? Say Ruben Neves is probably more in that system. Let me read a couple of your comments out. Bertus, you're saying that every advantage has its disadvantage. All the way around. You should all check Ethan Galbraith. Yeah, Ethan Galbraith. He's a player that came through, but United cannot seriously be looking at catching up to City and Liverpool and then pointing towards youngsters and saying, it might work. It's a huge risk, man. A huge risk. I don't see City taking that risk to get to the point where they're at. I don't see Liverpool taking that risk to get to that point, to get to where they're at. It might work, but no. Those sorts of youngsters have to come in amongst top-level signings, not in spite of or as an alternative. That's my own opinion on that situation. But I'm going to go down here and read a few more of your comments. That I've spoken about our need for a defensive midfielder almost till I can... It's my back teeth, man. I'm bored of saying it. I really am. You think you're bored of De Jong? Shit me. I am bored of saying that we need to sign a defensive midfielder. And I want to be surprised. At this point, surprise me, United. Please surprise me. I've spoken about Sangare. I've spoken about Lema. We could have had a conversation about Tchouaméni, Calvin Phillips, Boubacar Kamara. I'm sure there's others in there as well. But nothing really going on at this moment in time. And I hope United are really going to surprise me. Type it in the comments, right? I want to know where you stand. Have a little think about it before you type it in. Type yes or no. Do you think that De Jong will play for Manchester United next season? As I say, think about it before you type it in, and I'll try and gauge what the opinion is. You can let me know. Andy's saying, look, does it really matter? We can sit and moan, but when we have the Glazers, even when have the Glazers ever cared what fans think? They haven't, they don't, they never will. We just have to suck it up. And until the Glazers leave, that won't ever change. And that's an unfortunate truth, but that is just the absolute truth. I'm going to go down here and read a few. As I said, there's so many. I love it how many of you engage and actually send your answers in. So big up to that. Big up to you to making this actually an engaging, interactive show. But Deborah, you don't think it will happen. Yaz, you think it will. And I tell you what, I'm just going to keep putting up names on here, and you can see how many different opinions there are. Lots and lots of you think no, but lots and lots of you also think yes. It really is. United is stuck. As I say, it's why I titled the video, United is stuck with De Jong. We're stuck in this situation. We want that fee to be reduced. Barcelona are refusing to accept a lower fee. But United know that the longer we wait, the more we gain in this negotiation. And that's why we're waiting. That is why we're waiting. I really do still have that hope. Maybe it's naivety at this point, but I've got that hope that by the end of the summer, by the time we play on the 6th of August, we're going to be happy about it, man. We're going to be happy about it. I think we will be. I've got to think we will be. We've got Erik ten Hag in. We've got the right manager in. We've made the changes behind the scenes. We've done so much good over the last 2 months or so in terms of the overall structure of our football club and the man who's at the helm of it. That's really positive. But United have to make sure that for this rebuild to work, you have to get the right bricks in. You have to get the right raw materials in. And that's what this summer is all about. That's what this summer is all about. Greg, you know full well that I share that opinion. That I can't believe we aren't going all out for a CDM. It is the case of that. I'm not angry about it yet because it's far too early to be angry. But frustrated, yeah. And as I said, for me, this week was when my opinion was always going to start changing on the De Jong situation. I feel like a lot of the frustration has been over-exaggerated up until this point. But I wanted to see how United reacted to having a first bid rejected. And what we've done is instead of... if we knew full fucking well that Barcelona were not accepting that bid. We knew that was literally just a bid to open the door for negotiations. It was never going to be accepted, ever in a million years. So I don't know what the strategy is. The strategy is to go in with the low ball offer and just wait and wait like we're fishing and we haven't got anything on the hook. It's strange. It's really odd. And United, as I said, when it comes to understanding the values of commodities, time is almost as important as money when it comes to football transfer windows. And especially when Manchester United have got so much to do this summer. Liverpool, they could probably do nothing else this summer. And they probably had a decent summer. Sadio Mane will go Bayern Munich. They'll probably get 40 million for him. They're fine with that. That's probably Liverpool's squad settled for next season. Ours, we need a central midfielder. We need a defensive midfielder. We need a centre-back. We need an attacker. We need to sell a ton of players. And I tell you what, if we're talking about concerns, that is one concern I really do have about this summer transfer window. We can keep talking about all the players that we're signing or not signing, or De Jong and this and everything, X, Y, and Z. Why aren't we really hearing anything about players being sold? James Ducker from the Telegraph said this yesterday in his report, saying Manchester United are hoping to offload Anthony Martial and use any fee towards the cost of a new attacker, which, in my opinion, is music to my ears. I think that's good news. But what's happening? Where's any movement? It's what I mean about multitasking. United have got to juggle so many things this summer. Central defensive midfielder, central midfielder, attacker, and centre-back. That's 4 transfers that we need to be involved with. On the other hand, we've got Anthony Martial, you've got Dean Henderson, you've got Eric Bailly, you've got Andreas Pereira, and you've got Phil Jones. And I don't think it's unrealistic to think all of those can go. That's 9, 10, I lost count. 9 or 10 different individual transfers that all have to be wrapped up in the same window. for it to be considered a successful rebuild and then renewal. Some in, some out. We've got to get so much done. So, yeah, if United are going to offload Anthony Martial, well, who's looking at him? And I think we're going to struggle with Martial, man. I really think we're going to struggle. He's, you know how much his wages are? £240,000 a week. Martial's on 240 grand a week. It keeps blowing my mind every time I say that. I'm like, as if he's on that much. But we can't seem to find anybody to buy him at the moment. We can't seem to buy. I don't know whether we're looking. Are we just waiting for people to come knocking on our door? Is that what happens when you sell players? Is it like there's literally a transfer market on Football Manager where you go player for sale, boom, and then everyone gets in contact with you? I actually don't know how it works. Comment there from, where is it? Anthony, Stu, we've already had an update on De Jong's situation. Barca are meeting this week to discuss finances and probably what they'll accept on Frenkie. We know what they'll accept on Frenkie. It's that much isn't done. I have always said that 16th of June is an important date on the De Jong situation because that's when Barcelona's board will meet to try and discuss the selling of the license and merchandising to try and raise funds, selling of the Barca studios. They've basically they do have another couple of avenues that they might be able to raise funds from. And if those doors are closed and they're in one alley and that's selling De Jong, they've lost all power in negotiations. They have to accept something at some point. Nick, you sent a super chat. Let me read that out for you, buddy. Nice to see you there. And thanks for supporting. You're saying, as long as 95% of the squad is done before the tour, I'm happy. Negativity in the fan base is justified, but way over the top. It's not like us raging makes a difference. Try a cynical laugh instead. It doesn't make a difference. You know, I don't care whether we're happy or not during the summer. As I said, it's like when you start cooking a nice meal and you put it all in the pan, all the raw ingredients, you're like, what the fuck is that? That looks horrible. Give it an hour and a half later, delicious. Fantastic. And I suppose that's how United will be looking at this transfer window at the moment. It might look like shit, but there's nice ingredients that are going to go in there. And by the end of the summer, trust me, it's going to be delicious. You're going to be happy about it. And that's what we all want. But yeah, we're starting to see repeating patterns. We're starting to see traits creep into this transfer window that we've seen in previous transfer windows. The sort of stuff that we know that we can't afford to do. Dragging that transfer out. Going in with such a low offer. Like, as I said, Benfica, Liverpool. Happened pretty damn quick, really. Probably in the space of a couple of weeks before, like, no, I think Liverpool were tentatively linked with Nunez all summer, actually. That might be completely wrong to say. But as soon as United heard there was a bidding war there, we were like, woo, no chance. Absolutely no chance. And then Liverpool signed him. And you're saying, look, 95% of the squad done. We're currently at 45. It doesn't look like we're going to improve. We will sign players before the tour. How many players do you think will genuinely sign before the preseason tour starts? Ultimately, it does matter whether players are in before the preseason tour starts, but it is not the be-all and end-all, is it? As long as they're in probably a couple of weeks before the season starts, which isn't really too far off. But how many signings do you think will actually get done and secured before the preseason starts? Let me go down here. Peter, you're saying only Ericsson. Anthony, you're going for 4. Peter, you're feeling in a very chipper mood. You're saying 0. Shax, you're going for 3. 3, 4, 1, 3. I don't really know, if I'm honest. Fred, I can't say that. Oh, no. I can't say your comment, Fred. Oh, I can. You haven't tasted my wife's cooking. I'm sure it's lovely. I'm sure it's absolutely lovely. Maximum of 3 signed and only Andreas out the door. I don't know. We need players out the door, man. We can raise so much money, but the money's kind of irrelevant, really, because we're not spending any. So we're talking about all these players going out and boosting the funds. We haven't spent a penny yet, so does it really matter that much? And you're saying, look, Sam, do you think our ponderous inability is due to the sheer number of cooks in the kitchen? Any decision has to go through to Ten Hag. I don't think so. To a degree, yes. Ten Hag's not going to be involved in all this. He's already made his decisions clear. He's given the green light. Ten Hag's removed from that situation. Fletcher, you're giving him way too much credit, man. He's not involved in this at all. He might be somebody who Murto would lean on to say, look, what do you think about this player? And he'd give his opinion on it. So as far as it would go with Fletcher. But Murto, Arnold, and Glazer, Richard Arnold has made it very clear that he's delegating. So he's not really getting involved in the data. The only point where Arnold and Joel Glazer come in are when money is involved. And ultimately, if we're looking at where we are right now, that is the hurdle we've reached. We've identified our target. Erik ten Hag wants De Jong. Good. Done and settled. Fletcher's looked at him. Decent. Done. I mean, not that would have been the be all and end all. No one really, no one cares what Fletcher has to say, but he's not going to be the person who chooses our transfer targets. And Murto has gone in and he's starting negotiations. That's been rejected. And at this point here, this is where Arnold comes in. This is where the hurdles of the Glazers and our previous transfer windows are repeating themselves because we are getting blocked by that fee and the fact that we don't want to go too high. Joseph's saying Frenkie de Jong is crucial to Ten Hag's system. He'll be an on-field general and will control the game by controlling our team. Instrumental in us having a quicker transition in Ten Hag's style and become competitive again. Joseph, as I said, I'm definitely going to hold back on that video that I would love to do, but I will not do until we get confirmation that De Jong is coming in. But he is the man that can really completely change our ability to control a football game and the tempo of the play, the build-up. He changes it all. One person really can do that much. I can't imagine anything worse. Maybe not anything worse, but Patrice Evra being involved in those negotiations. Be a good cheerleader to send out, though. Absolutely. Stephen, you're right. We know this is a big issue that we've got with any players leaving the club. They're all on goddamn inflated contracts. Ridiculous. As I said, Martial's on 240 a week. My word. And we're hearing reports over here that Dean Henderson, he's been linked with Bournemouth. Okay. Go to Bournemouth then. Sell him to Bournemouth. We can't keep Dean Henderson happy next season. What's the point in sending him out on loan without an obligation to buy? If we send him out on loan with his full wages covered and an obligation to buy at the end of the season, then cool, we can do that. But Dean Henderson needs to go. Eric Bailly needs to go. Pereira needs to go. Phil Jones needs to go. Anthony Martial need to go at the same time as we need 4 signings. And that's why there is frustration among United fans. It's the sheer scale of what we know needs to be achieved this summer. And with every passing day, it becomes more difficult. There shouldn't be any players on that pre-season tour taking up the spot of somebody else if they're not going to be part of Manchester United's squad next season. As I said, those 5 players there shouldn't be anywhere near the tour if they're not part of Ten Hag's plans. But selling players in the pre-season tour, that's not going to be the end of the world. It really isn't going to be the end of the world. Let's go here. Need to fix it by the root. Well, you need to cut the head of the snake off, you mean? And I always talk about root cause analysis. It's quite an important concept for me. And the idea that it's like, what's the point in like fixing something here if you go down all the way to the bottom? And that's where the real problem is. It's a bit like the Upside Down, really. Anybody watch Stranger Things? Can't wait for. I won't do any spoilers, but I can't wait for the next bit to come out. That is going to be good. Last few minutes of the show, I'll answer your questions. I'll try and interact as much as I possibly can. Let me give you a quick recap for anybody who's just joined in. We have, of course, talked about Frenkie de Jong. We talked about the fact that Barca aren't budging on that fee that they want. They want 100 million euros, really, overall. You've got Barcelona fans who genuinely are sitting there saying, look, it's pretty simple, really. Pay us what we want for de Jong, or you can't have him. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind that they have not the audacity, but why Barcelona and Barcelona fans think they hold any sort of power in these negotiations. And that's what it is. United don't want to be overpaying, which is the right thing to do. But at some point, the commodity of time has to be valued just as much as the commodity of the bottom line of how much we're spending. Because we might not run out of money this summer, but we might run out of time. And how frustrating would that be? Let me go down and read a few of your comments here. Phil, you're saying, look, Sam, teams know the mammoth task Ten Hag has and his need for players. They'll hang on for the biggest fee. Tell you what else we're seeing here. I don't know whether this is probably not too much to look into, but Charlotte Ducker from the Times here reporting that Ten Hag's finding it tough to sell the project of Manchester United. And we do have such a mammoth task ahead. On hand? Ahead and on hand. Rashad, let me read a few of your comments out here. Wayne, you're saying, do you think de Jong would hold out for a move to United over going elsewhere? I don't think he's going to be holding out for any particular club. What I'm going to do, I haven't covered it in this interview. There will be a video going out pretty quickly after this live stream. I'm going to run through Frenkie de Jong's interview that he gave yesterday with the Dutch national team, where he spoke directly about the Manchester United rumours. And I'm going to summarize everything that I've said in this video in a nice short 10-minute video. As I said, I appreciate there are some people that love joining in these live streams, but there are some people that just don't have the time. So that's, I'll talk about the commodity of time. I've literally just explained it there. So that's why I do the short videos as well, because some people, they can't join in these ones. So it's a bit of creating content, which means all people can enjoy it. John, Frenkie de Jong will be the ball carrier, bridging that gap between defense and midfield that we've struggled with for so long. Oh, man, you're all preaching to the choir here. You're all spot on as well. I think if de Jong comes in, we are all going to be so ridiculously excited about how much of a difference he makes to the team. I don't think I can overstate that enough. Sorry, not understate. It will be amazing. We'll have Frenkie de Jong signed by the end of the next week, or otherwise I'm going to remain in hospital for quite some time yet. Jeez, well, United probably sent you there in the first place. Look, it's frustrating, man. This point is where, as I said, I share your frustration now. I do think it was a bit over-exaggerated prior to this week, but in this week, I wanted to see a difference from Manchester United. I'm not seeing a difference from Manchester United. I'm seeing United valuing that bottom line more than anything else, more than the value of getting Erik ten Hag what he needs and getting it in early. And that's the difference between a true rebuild or ultimately another version of what we've seen before, where the club doesn't really want to rebuild. The club really just wants to make sure that its profit remains the same. Now, I'll tell you what, there's another video I'm going out later this week. Might do an interview later today, actually. Man United shares have slumped to nearly 50% less than what they were in October 2021. The market's down, the global market's down, but United are in the mud in terms of how much they're worth. That's for sure. Gyro, you're saying United's poor at transfers. Well, let's go and see what happens there. And 40, let's go. Is de Jong unique in the way he plays, or are there alternatives to de Jong? 40, I would personally argue that de Jong, the profile of de Jong, the understanding of Ten Hag's system, being schooled in the Ajax way, I think he's extremely unique. He has a set of skills, as Liam Neeson would say, he has a set of skills. And that set of skills I don't think can be matched by any other signing. I don't think so. And that's why United really have him as a priority. I'll read one or two more of your comments out down here. Noel, you're saying, look, no way should we be paying 100 million. Walk away and forget about him. I don't think United will do that, but yeah, we won't pay 100 million. That's why this impasse has been reached. And up until the point where that changes, I won't lead with a de Jong story headline anymore until there's a big shift. And I'm talking there has to be really strong talks of a second bid going in from United, or the fact that Barcelona are willing to reduce the fee that they want. Until that shift comes in, I won't lead with a de Jong story anymore, because otherwise I don't want to fuel any more frustration. But today was an important update. I said we're stuck in the mud. We're at 70 million euros. Barca want at 100 million. We've offered 70. We know where that middle ground is. It's 85. Will we get there? We'll find out, I suppose. But thank you very much for joining in. As I said, check out the video that will probably be out before 11 a.m. So in the next 40 minutes, I'll get that de Jong interview covered and a video released on it. As I said, I'm making it nice and short and summing up this whole de Jong situation in a nice 10-minute video, because not all of you can join in these live streams. But thank you very much, all of your support, as I do every single day. Thank you very much for your interactions and your comments. Make sure you follow, subscribe, follow, drop a like on the video. Until next time. Take it easy.